On this episode of Sega Talk, we shift into portable racing mode as we take a deep dive into Sonic Drift and Sonic Drift 2, Sega's kart racers released exclusively for the Game Gear. Long before Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, these two hidden gems let players race as their favorite characters across colorful, high-speed tracks inspired by the early 16-bit Sonic era. So let's put the pedal to the metal on Sega Talk. Sega Bits presents Sega Talk, a podcast talking all things Sega! With your hosts, George and Barry.
Look, it's a giant talking egg. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the master here. Say what?
Hello, and welcome to episode number 176 of Sega Talk. I am Barry at the wheel, and sitting in the passenger seat is George.
Yeah, hi everyone. Is everyone doing?
I think they're doing well, and you know, we actually were not too long ago in a little pretend car.
Oh yeah.
You were driving though, and I was just sitting there watching.
Are you talking about the arcades?
Yeah, at the Galloping Ghost.
Okay. That's what I thought you were talking about. I didn't want to be confused.
Yeah.
Talking about little cars, we have a little Patreon that you guys can check out at www.patreon.com/SegaBits. We have lots of tiers. One of the tiers is to pick an episode. Usually it's episodes like this. Is this a Patreon pick?
This actually is a Patreon pick, and we will be reading Nicholas Schaefer's memories shortly. But you want to tell people how they can pick episodes like this one so we can talk about them? Yeah,
you could go onto our Patreon, of course, and there's a $20 tier where you could pick what we talk about for that month. And if that's too much, there's always the $5 for the video tier and $1 to access the audio version a week early. And we appreciate everyone's support. Thank you.
We absolutely do. And we also have a picker wheel tier. But we'll talk about that one at the end of the show because I think we're going to be spinning that wheel.
Nice.
So, yes, this episode was a Patreon pick. We are going to be talking about two games, Sonic Drift and Sonic Drift 2, which I think makes sense because as we get into it, you're going to learn that not only are these games very similar, but they were released so closely together that it's just like we might as well cover them both at the same time. Released March 18th, 1994 for the Sega Game Gear, Sonic Drift is a 1-to-2 player kart racing game starring Sonic and his friends and rivals, well, I should say rival because there's only one, as they compete across themed circuits using special character abilities. While modest in scale due to hardware limits, the game delivered fast, approachable racing along with that familiar Sonic energy. You know that familiar Sonic energy, right?
I didn't really feel it in this game, but I understand the Sonic energy.
Yeah. Sonic Drift 2, meanwhile, was released a year later on March 17th, 1995, and it built upon the foundation of the original, expanded the roster, improved track variety, and refined the gameplay. It is now regarded as one of the most impressive racers on the Game Gear. And I wrote that, but would you agree with that? Because I'm struggling to think of any other real racers on the Game Gear.
I don't think it was a racing unit. Can I even think of good racers on the Game Boy or many handhelds? I think there's some on like the PSP that I remember that were pretty impressive. I'm trying to maybe there's something on the Game Boy Advance, maybe like the F-Zero game. But I don't really play racing games in handheld mode, personally, and I don't know if that's what it is. Maybe most people that play handheld games don't play racing games. I have no idea how they sell.
And it's kind of fitting that we're talking about Sonic Drift today because I do believe that either yesterday or today or this week, the Switch 2 saw Sonic Racing Cross Worlds release. So it's kind of wild that the most recent Sonic Racing game is still available, in a quote-unquote handheld. Would you consider Switch 2 a handheld device? I guess it is.
I guess it's a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
And I think
it's hybrid.
It's pretty impressive what it can do. I mean, comparable to even the Switch 1 now. And I thought the Switch 1 was pretty impressive that you got console-ported games on the handheld compared to, well, games like this. Obviously, this would have been pretty impressive on the Sega Genesis using blast processing, or the scalar graphics would have been sick, but we got it on handheld, more limited.
Well, so we're going to be talking about these two titles. They are, of course, Sega's earliest experiments outside of the platforming genre. Really, they're some of the earliest Sonic spin-offs. And they also were, of course, the precursor to Sonic R, as well as the modern All-Stars Racing series. I'll be honest, Sonic R didn't even enter my brain as I was writing these notes. And I think it's just because I don't really bunch Sonic R into that whole Sonic Racing lineup. Like, if anything, I kind of jump from this game. I even kind of skip over the Riders games. Those are kind of their own thing. I really see this game, and then it isn't really until All-Stars Racing that we kind of got to return to Sonic vehicular racing. Let's get some beautiful gameplay footage. What's that?
I was gonna say, what do you consider Sonic R? The not a racer, but a power walking game?
Pretty much. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a 3D platformer racer. It's kind of weird. It's like a hybrid of what Sonic could be in 3D, but he kind of handles like a car, which is weird, but he's not. I also feel as though Sonic R and the Riders games all have, I don't want to say bad controls, but different controls. If you play any racing games, like traditional kart racer, and then you go into one of those, you're just kind of like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I should be an ace at this, but there's something amiss. And I honestly, I've yet to really master the Riders games. There's something about them that I just doesn't click with me, and maybe I should force myself to play them and really figure it out, because there's some cool stuff in those games. But let's get some gameplay footage going. Let me read Nicholas Schaefer's memories, who was the picker of this. He said, I never owned this on Game Gear despite having one, but got to experience them through Sonic Adventure DX. I played Drift 1 a little bit, but once I realized Drift 2 was just Drift 1 with more, I mostly stuck to the game. It was okay. Would have liked to see how 16-bit version would have compared to Mario Kart. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like it's not a game that wasn't really near and dear to his heart, but maybe us talking about it will make Nicholas rethink just how great these games are. George, what are your memories of Sonic Drift and its sequel?
I think I played the first game, like when I was a really kid. I had a bunch of games. It wasn't my games. It was like somebody bought them or something. I don't even know how I acquired them to borrow, but there was like one of the Shinobi games, and then it was one of the Drift games. I don't remember which one, but I remember not really being that into it compared to the other ones, the 2D platformers. Maybe because it aligned more with what I thought of Sonic on the 16-bit, but scaled down. So I just enjoyed the other ones, and you know how limited the Game Gear's battery was back then. So you
sure.
Definitely didn't want to waste your time just messing around with games that you don't really like.
Right.
Yeah, definitely was not one that I thought too fondly of, and I don't even know if it's thought of fondly now. I do like the art on it. I do like the graphics in it, and I think that's probably, it's in my opinion, the thing I remember fondly the most about the game.
Yeah, for me, the first time I believe I played them was probably when I picked up Sonic Mega Collection Plus for, I believe it's the Xbox. So that would have been early 2000s. This is not a game that I really experienced. But then I did eventually get a Game Gear, probably also in the early 2000s, and did pick up Sonic Drift 2, which is likely what you played, because the original Sonic Drift never got a release in America. It was a Japanese-only game. But yeah, I just, it was kind of a curiosity playing it on the TV. And we'll get at the end into all the different ways to play this, but I'll say up front that I feel like this game plays best on either the Game Gear or on a portable device. Like there's a 3DS port for the Virtual Console of the second game. It's just it feels so much better in your hands playing it on a tiny screen. I'd even say that playing the game on the Switch version of Sonic Origins Plus works really well. But playing it on the TV, just, it doesn't work. Like, it wasn't made for the TV. It was made for the handheld. And I feel like, you know, going off of what Nicholas was saying in his memories, he played it on a compilation on the TV, and it just made him want a 16-bit version, which I totally get. But you have to remember, these games were made for a certain hardware, for a certain use, and if you play this game on the go, on a little hardware, on a little handheld, I should say, it's quite fun. Let's talk about the gameplay. So the goal of Sonic Drift is to win all 3 Chaos GPs. There's green, yellow, and red, and each rewards a Chaos Emerald upon completion. Every Grand Prix features 6 unique tracks inspired by locations of the original Sonic games. Races place the player against 3 computer-controlled opponents, using button 2 to accelerate and button 1 to brake. Braking while steering allows players to drift through the corners, thus Sonic Drift, though overusing this technique can cause the character to spin out. Leaving the paved road immediately reduces your speed, while trackside obstacles will bring racers to a complete stop if stuck. The up direction on the D-pad activates a character-specific special move, which is powered by collecting rings. So there's quite a lot going on there. I feel as though if you didn't have the directions, you might not even have been drifting. Do you recall actually playing this game correctly, or did you struggle with it?
I think, I mean, thinking back, I don't remember clearly. I probably struggled. Yeah. I think it's probably one of the reasons why I thought the game wasn't that great, most likely. Maybe I was just losing the races and going, oh, well, this game's dumb, and then just moving on because, like I said, you have limited time sometimes on some of these games before you either had to recharge your battery, and I think at the time I didn't have the power brick, so... Yeah. I'm assuming I probably didn't do it.
Yeah, same here. You know, when I was first playing this game way back on the compilations, I don't think I was drifting. I think I was just kind of like slowing down and getting confused and wondering why I was losing. But yeah, man, once you like figure out how to drift, it's just perfection. It's a lot of fun in my opinion. Each course is a closed circuit race over 3 laps. Points are awarded at the end of each race based on the finishing position. 3 points for first, 2 for second, 1 for third, and 0 for fourth. And at the end of the Grand Prix, the character with the highest total points is declared the winner. Players can choose between 2 difficulty settings. There's normal and hard on the options menu. And beyond the main Grand Prix mode, there's 2 additional options. There's free run, which is like a practice mode, and then... which, I mean, all of this is kind of found in the modern Sonic racing games, so I feel like these are pretty common to most racing games. And then another mode is Versus, which allows for head-to-head competition between 2 players, but you need to use the gear-to-gear player, or gear-to-gear cable, and then each racer, I believe, needs to have a cartridge. So yeah, it's a little costly, but it is fun if you get to try it out. In the sequel, the objective remains the same as the original. You have to win those 3 GPs. There's purple, white, and blue, as opposed to what was the original, green, yellow, and red. So it's kind of interesting. They didn't replicate any of the colors. You get 3 brand new colors. And And in addition to that, you're collecting those Chaos Emeralds. Each Grand Prix has 6 tracks. Some are visually inspired by zones from Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, and most are entirely new. So there's greater track variety in the sequel, Chaos Emeralds 1 through Races. If Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or Amy collects all 6 emeralds in the Blue GP, they unlock a final race against Dr. Eggman aboard the Death Egg. But if Eggman, Metal Sonic, or Fang collects all 6, the final showdown is against Sonic. So it's kind of fun. You get little like Hero or Dark way before Sonic Adventure 2 came out. The gameplay in the sequel mirrors the original, so I won't get too much into it. I'll just be repeating myself. The extra modes are also unchanged. So you got the free run and you have the verses. That just about does it for both games. How do you think Sonic Drift compares to other kart racers of the era? Maybe you've played more than me, especially like with Nintendo.
Oh yeah, I think this game kind of reminds me a lot of it, and I think the map screen is a little too much. I always hated maps when you're a kid and you have like, oh, the map takes half your screen. I'm like, why? Like, I think
Right.
Rock and Roll Racers or something on the Super Nintendo and Genesis also did it. And I remember just hating it. I'm like, but because I want to see the graphics. But it reminds me a lot, of course, of Mario Kart, which is, I think it was obviously inspired by. I think it looks faster than Mario Kart, if I remember correctly, playing the last time I played on the Super Nintendo. Surprisingly, not that much worse. It does have that floaty island, whatever, in the middle with just a picture of the mountains in the back. I think the effect works good on the Game Gear when it's so small. But besides that, I haven't played too many, but it just reminded me a lot of Mario Kart. Did you play Mario Kart when you were younger, or recently, or as an adult?
I played the original a bit at a daycare that I would go to that was in a mall or in a strip mall. And then I also, I believe years later, I picked up Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, I think it was. Is that the right one?
It was on the Wii U, and it was on the Switch, obviously.
Yeah, I have the Wii U. And so I'm not well versed in Mario Kart games, but from what I've seen of Mario Kart World, that's actually not what I'm into. I'm much more of what Sega did with Cross Worlds. I like tight tracks with very little like exploration. I like exploration, but I like little bits of it. I don't like these big open world games. And I also I do find the Mario Kart games to be a little slow. I know they have a faster one. What do they call it? CC? I don't understand any of the terminology, to be honest, in the Mario Kart games. But like Sega, it's interesting because Sega is the racing like king, but they never really gave Sonic that. They never really combined Sonic with their racing know-how. Even I mean, I guess once Riders came about, they went in-house and they used what was it? It was the team that did Space Channel 5, I believe, worked on it.
Oh, yeah. United Game Artists or something like that?
Yeah, and I think they had a little racing pedigree, but it honestly, like, they farmed it out to Sumo and Traveler's Tales with Sonic R, and it wasn't really until Cross Worlds that they were like, let's utilize our arcade talent and get the people who've been doing Initial D. So it is kind of surprising that they didn't really go all out a lot earlier, and they kind of relegated Sonic to the handheld. All right, let's jump into the roster. So I wanted to take a look at the characters, but more specifically, I wanted to take a look at their vehicles. I don't have pictures from the latest Sonic games, but we can keep Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and all their other vehicles from the All-Stars and Team Sonic racing games in mind as we look at these. So this first one, this is Sonic the Hedgehog and his car, the Cyclone, This is the one from the first game. It's much. Look how long it is.
I
Isn't that thing
was
long?
thinking. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It looks like Ronald McDonald's shoe, and yeah. So the car itself is actually modeled after Sonic's shoe. It's got a little kind of white stripe on the side. It's got the buckle, but on the front. I honestly think it's a very stylish looking car, and let's also look at the second image, which is his car in the sequel. They actually kind of shortened it and cartoonified it.
I think I'm out of order. Oh, I see it now. It was out of order, but I got it.
Oh, okay. So what do you think of that? Like, downgrade,
This one,
at least in the art?
well, it depends on if you're looking for a slicker look. This looks more like a cartoon kids game.
Yeah.
The first one looks like a racing car, like a weird unlockable in, like, I don't know, Outrun, where you're like Sonic Shoe designed Ferrari. This one looks like I went to Adventure Park or some, and I'm playing go-karts, like the ones you actually play in real life. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in game, there's no difference, but this is obviously like the manual art. I prefer the look of the first one, but I think the second one is much more in line with what the game actually looks like graphically. Yeah. I did wonder what your take was. So in this game, they modeled it after his shoe. So when you got Sonic in it, you can't see his feet, but you get that red and white from his vehicle. Whereas in the current titles, Sonic sits in a car. I think it's the Speed Star, but it looks like his head, and it's all blue. So it's just like, I honestly think they did it right here, where you get Sonic's blue up top and you get the red and white from his shoes in the vehicle, whereas in the All-Stars games, it's just a big blob of blue, and the car has spikes just like Sonic. So it's just like, I don't know, visually it seems more iconic to have the red car with the blue Sonic. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I know that it's supposed to look like him. I think that's a little narcissistic of Sonic to have his big head. Having his shoes, I think, like you said, it makes him stand out and gives it variety. It's like when Superman has the underwear, it doesn't look like he's wearing one big bodysuit. It kind of gives it the design a like break in the middle with the red. Yeah. Even if it's ridiculous that he's wearing underwear outside of his tights. But I think it works visually, and I think it works for Sonic on this one, like you said. I think that's the reason he had red shoes to begin with. But yeah.
Let's take a look at Tails next. So here's Tails in the original Sonic Drift in his MTP-01 Whirlwind. It's quite cool looking. It's not the tornado, and unlike Sonic, it's also not emulating his shoes. It's kind of his own thing, which I do appreciate. I like here how they didn't, because I feel like Tails in the tornado, like, yeah, sure, he does fly that thing, but it's not the only vehicle. Like, he also has the Sea Fox. So I don't know why the All-Stars game like really had to stick Tails in a biplane all the time, even though it was like a car. So I actually much prefer. What's that?
It's an iconic scene in Sonic 2 when you get on top of him and stuff, you know?
For sure. I guess I feel like it's like if you see him doing one thing and they're just like, that's what he always does. And I'm like, well, let's mix it up. So I like his yellow car here. I think it's cool. In the sequel, we can look at that one. They actually completely changed the vehicle. It's now the MTP-02 Whirlwind S7. It's the longest name for any of these vehicles. And it actually looks like a downgrade to me. They got rid of the... he used to have like these two little like rocket jets on the top. And
oh, yeah.
It's
first one...
I don't know.
The first one looks like it's more high-tech and it kind of aligns with his character trait. And the sequel just looks...
Right.
like a weird banana that's been kind of peeled backwards. I don't know. It's weird.
It does kind of look like Super Monkey Ball's car. And it also feels old. Like it looks like an old jalopy. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of his how it looked. And I haven't compared the graphics in 1 and 2, but I'm presuming they actually did alter the car for the sequel. Next up, we have Eggman, Dr. Robotnik, in the Egg Typhoon. And this has not changed between both games. It's essentially his Egg-O-Matic or Eggmobile from Sonic 2.
And it was also featured in Wall-E with the humans. We were all on it, and they were all fat, remember?
That's true. Yeah, it does look like it's from Wall-E. So, I mean, I have no notes here. I think sticking Eggman in a version of his Eggmobile or Egg-O-Matic is cool. I actually, you look at all of them over the years. He had a monster truck in All-Stars Racing. But in Crossworlds, they actually stuck him in his Sonic 2 boss vehicle, which I thought was really cool. It's about time they stuck modern Eggman in a classic vehicle. I thought that was really cool. Taking a look at Amy Rose here, she's got Breeze, which is like a talking car. It's like Benny the Cab out of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And she even has a Sonic... She has a Sonic Drift branded umbrella, which is pretty cool. What do you think about her vehicle? It's weird, right?
It looks creepy, especially since it's like looking at her with dreamy eyes, and it's like, okay, it's supposed to be like Herbie or something, right? Like,
yeah,
a little whimsical aspect to the character. She has the most cartoony kind of like Alice in Wonderland weird,
right?
Yeah, a car that's alive.
I feel like, too, at this point, Amy really didn't have much character to her. She was just like an NPC in Sonic CD, and then here she is in this game, and it's like, we don't really have much. I don't even think they played up the fortune-telling cards or anything, so it's like, give her a talking car. It's really weird, actually. Yeah. It's the weirdest vehicle. And in Sonic Drift 2, it did not change. It's still creepy.
They liked it. They're like, oh man, everyone's loves this car, so we can't change it. We have to keep it.
It's honestly, it's really weird. Like, if you take Sonic canon into account, you're like, there has never been talking cars. There's been like robots. Like, maybe this is like an Eggman robot. But yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised they didn't base her car around like Little Planet or something you'd find in Sonic CD. It would make more sense than to give her this weird thing. So I don't miss Breeze, but it is interesting that in the first All-Stars racing game, she had a car like this, but it was pink and they didn't put a face on it, thankfully. But yeah, it seems like she drives like a VW Bug or something. Now we're getting into just the Sonic Drift 2 characters. So here we have Metal Sonic, and Metal Sonic drives the Blue Devil. Look at that.
Wow.
Pretty slick. And I haven't compared to Crossworlds. I should take a look myself, but I feel like this is kind of like his Crossworlds car. I could be wrong. But I'm just looking myself. It's pretty different.
This one has like it kind of looks like a superhero future vehicle. Like when you read a comic book from a character that's from the future, he would like have something like this. I think it kind of looks like he's driving an extension of himself, obviously with the yellow and the blue and the design choices. I guess it works for him. But I guess it leaves him all blue. I can't see him driving anything else. I don't know. Like, can you see him having a actual devil, like riding a demon or a car that's a demon, just like Amy has her Herbie car?
That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I did take a little look on my end at his other cars in the modern games, and they're all different. There's no real design aesthetics that carry over much. If anything, his car in the new games is kind of like a twisted take on Sonic's car. But I do like how there is no seat. Like there's plugs. It's almost like he plugs it into his back and it becomes an extension of his body, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But I dig that. The next one we have is Knuckles, and
Like a
Knuckles drives the
Safari?
Tempest.
Safari
I don't
Jeep?
understand this one. Both the name Tempest does not match this car. If you showed me this car and said guess the name, I would never get it. And also, the car itself does not look like an extension of anything on him. It doesn't look like it's based on anything from Sonic 3. Like, I guess Sonic 3 kind of has jungles, and so it's like a jungle
vehicle.
car, or maybe
Yeah.
like Knuckles is tough.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It looks like he just picked it up at a dealership and it's like, all right, I showed up with this. Oh, you guys all have themed cars? What? Amy, your car is alive?
And the yellow on his shoes don't even match this, because this one's a little more orange. I guess he has like those little bolts on his shoes. I've never actually figured out what those are. They're like Legos, and
Yeah,
this
the
car
Lego
has them
piece.
too. But I'll be honest, this is the least iconic looking car. It never sticks with me. I don't like it. Don't like it.
Thumbs
But
down.
what I do like is I like Fang the Sniper in the Marvelous Queen. You can
Wow.
see it here. Marvelous Queen was actually first seen in Sonic Triple Trouble. It also made its return in Sonic Superstars. And I believe it's in Sonic Mania when he's like an illusion. They even made a action figure of this year. So you can go to the store, you can go to GameStop and pick up a little multi-figure pack, and it comes with this vehicle. I'm actually looking at it right now. But yeah, I think Fang and his vehicle was the coolest thing in the sequel. I always played as him. I thought it was so neat. What do you think about Fang here and his sick ride?
I mean, Fang's a great character. It's funny how this is probably the most iconic vehicle, if you think about it, out of all
Yeah.
since it literally has an action figure, it's been used multiple times, at least as much as Fang's allowed to be, returning in other games since they've kind of shut
Right.
him out. I like it. I think I don't know if it fits his personality, but I think it makes it iconic for the reasons you suggested. I mean, it's blue and yellow. None of his colors are like that. It doesn't have an assassin's aesthetic, but it does have an extension of like an Eggman kind of. So it gives him that whatever. What was it called? The egg? What? I forget that he rides.
Oh, the Egg Typhoon?
Yeah, it kind of gives it a vibe like that, so you kind of know that he's a bad guy. So it kind of ties him like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you obviously like this vehicle? You have an action figure of it.
I do, yeah. I like Fang, and I think we've said on this show before that, like, there's been Sonic games or Sonic pretenders and wannabes who have like Bubsy and Gex. Like, they try to make these games and they fail. And then the Sonic series, meanwhile, I feel like almost every single character could carry their own series. Like,
Yeah.
the design of Tails, Knuckles, Fang, Amy, every single member of the Chaotix, Mighty, Ray, Blaze. I feel like Fang is up there. Like, Fang and Blaze and Shadow. Well, Shadow has carried his own game, but I feel like if
Yeah.
you gave those characters their own series, I think they'd do fairly well. And I think Fang's very cool. I wish you could play as him more often. Like, this and Sonic the Fighters are the only real times you can play as Fang. And it surprises me because he's got, like, he can jump and he's got projectile weapons. So you could have Sonic gameplay with, like, super jumps and bouncing and projectile weapons. Like, I don't know why they don't do that. And with his pop gun, he could do, like, trick shots and it could, like, bounce off walls and stuff. I think that would be sweet. But that's my love for Fang.
Fang.
That's the Fang section of the show. Let's get some footage playing of the sequel, and we'll keep talking here. We kind of already talked about the roster, but I'm curious, the game itself, do you think the sequel was more of an update or revision, like Galaxy Force 2 or Afterburner 2, as a way to improve the game? Or do you think Sega was, like, legitimately thinking, like, man, that first one went so well, let's make a second, like, now. Like, they must have shipped it and then immediately started working on the sequel. Like, why do you think these were so close together?
Back. I think that what you said, maybe they wanted to release something for some sort of date, like like a holiday season, or I think in Japan would be Golden Week, and they released it, and now they had to wait, and they were still working on it, and then they had a sequel, and they were like, all right, that's enough, let's release it. Especially during this time, in the 90s, I think there were so many, not only systems, like there was the TG, the TurboGrafx 16, the Game Gear, the Sega Genesis, CD, you start counting all the consoles that were coming out randomly since it was like the Wild West. They also had a bunch of games like Bonk and all these other franchises that I think just went under the radar. But I think that's what they did. They were like, let's just slap a 2 on it and release it. And by the time, it wasn't like the internet, You had to be a gamer. Most parents were, and they saw Sonic Drift 2, and they were like, oh, my kid likes Sonic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd buy that. Let's talk briefly about the tracks. Sonic Drift mainly covers, or actually just covers, Sonic 1. So the tracks are Green Hill, Marble, Spring Yard, Labyrinth, Starlight, and Scrap Brain. It's basically a straight-up kart racer version of Sonic 1. Now, it doesn't mean there's only 6 tracks in the game. In fact, I didn't post it in anything, but there are different maps. So there's 3 maps for each of these. Now, they're not all that like exciting or different. Like, if I were to show you the shapes, it would be like one's a square and one's like kind of a square missing a side, and then one has like a little dent in the top, so it's, I guess, you turn left and then right and then left. So it's not overly different. It's quite samey, actually. You're going to be racing through the same 6 locations, just with different layouts for each GP. And now if we look at Sonic Drift 2, there are some, like, I guess you'd call them like like there's Emerald Hill 1, Hilltop 1, Dark Valley 1, Casino Night, Desert Road 1, Iron Rune, Desert Road 2, Rainy Savannah, Ice Cap, Hilltop 2, Mystic Cave, Emerald Hill 2, Dark Valley 2, Quake Cave, Balloon Panic, Emerald Ocean, Milky Way, and Death Egg. So it's definitely larger. Any tracks that have 2, they didn't really go for 3. They gave you something different. I especially loved when you get to the end of the game and you do Milky Way, which is not a track. It's a straight. It's not a straight line, but it's a line from a start to an end, and the end is Death Egg. So it feels like you're racing to get somewhere, which is really cool. And I've never seen in a Sonic kart racing game, or I can't think of any kart racing game that has a track that is not made to be, well, cross worlds, I guess. When you get to the cross world, it's meant to go just from point A to B, and there's no loop. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It's a much more epic way to end the game, to actually have a true conclusion where you're racing through outer space and then you get to the Death Egg. What are your thoughts on the tracks, comparing what we just went through for Sonic 1 or Sonic Drift 1 and Sonic Drift 2? There's
no comparison. It's obvious that there's more variety. There's a lot more of them. And not only are there more, they're also in higher quality graphically too, and they do more tricks that I guess are impressive if you think about it, that it's running on a Master System, scaled down Master System, if at that. Wait. Yeah. Is the Game Gear is scaled down, right? It's scaled down from the Master System, right, in power?
It's scaled down, but it has more colors, I believe.
Oh.
So it's actually, I think it's more powerful, but it's smaller.
But it has lesser resolution,
understand it.
Right? It has like lesser resolution.
Less resolution. Yeah, less resolution, more colors.
Gotcha.
That's what it is.
So I guess it's a but yeah, I think nothing compares to the sequel. Obviously, if you're gonna play one of these, without a doubt, play the sequel and play the first one for novelty. So yeah, no comparison for sure.
Do you have any favorite tracks? Do you remember any of these tracks?
I haven't played it in a long time, so to tell you, I would just be making something up, and I won't do that. So I definitely. What is your favorite tracks, though, Barry?
Oh man, you know I got them. Rainy Savannah is like top tier. It might be one of my favorite kart racing tracks of all time. Just because, and it's not so much the layout, it's because the game, it's a kind of a sad or scary track. Like the music playing sounds like Eggman just called Sonic and he's like, "You better come home and see what I did to your family." Like it's kind of like scary music. Like Sonic's driving home in a rainstorm and there's lightning. I don't know. That's just my kind of read on it. And then I also really love, like I said, the Milky Way stage because it just leads you to the Death Egg and then you do the Death Egg race. It's kind of like a precursor. So those would be the three that I like the most. And it's interesting because of those, all three of those, there's nothing really like bright and colorful about them. If anything, I kind of like how this game goes a little darker, and it's not like a super happy game for me for some reason. If anything, it kind of reminds me of like what I'd imagine like Formula One fans feeling, where it's like the rate, like, you know, those movies that came out recently. It's like there's nothing happy about them. It's like these people who are race car drivers. It's like life or death. Right. And everything's on the line. And that's what I like about the Sonic Drift games, especially the sequel, is that it's not like Mario Kart where it's like, let's have a happy, fun day and, you know, we're all friends. Even the Sonic All-Stars games, like they tried to play up like friendship, teamwork, fun. But the Sonic Drift games, I feel like they really kind of channel that classic 90s racing that was probably real hot in Japan, where it's like, you know, this is do or die. This could ruin your career. It could ruin your life if you crash. And it's kind of funny to have that sort of mindset, but it's just like cartoon characters, you know, in little cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I read too much into it, but I urge people to play this game on a handheld, like late at night with like the lights down, and you get to that Rainy Savannah track and you're just like, it's cool. I don't know. I like it. Let's talk about the items. So there are actually quite a few items in here. We have rings. I mean, who wouldn't put rings in a Sonic racing game? Right. If you collect 2 rings, so they're not littered all over the track. It's not like Cross Worlds where you're getting like hundreds of rings. But if you collect 2 rings or 3 for Metal Sonic, it allows you to use your special ability, which again, you press up and then you can do your special ability. Some are jumping, some are speeding up, some are using an item. This item appears in both games. There's also springs, or it's also called Jump Bane. I don't know why. Some of these have weird double names. These launch the player into the air upon collision, and this item also appeared in both games. There is Flash, or a Flash Star, and it makes the screen flash white for everyone. This effect's triggered immediately, and it's only found in the sequel. And I will say, out of all these items, the Flash Star is not found in any of the 16-bit Sonic games. It's just like a silver star. But it is interesting to me that it wasn't until All-Stars Racing that they had a star item. It did different things, but it is like one of the very few things you could actually say All-Stars ties back to, even though this is more like what did there was like ink or ooze, I think, that goes on the screen in the new games.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So this is like that equivalent. There's the reverse ball, which steering's reversed for a short time, and this effect is triggered immediately. This is only found in the sequel, and it's actually, if I'm remembering correctly, it's the white ball with the red R, and it's like you would find it in the special stage in Sonic 1, where it made the maze go the other way. So it's kind of a unique little use of that item in this. The dash box, which is a TV monitor, it's red. It gives the player a brief burst of speed along the track, and it's activated by pressing up. This is in both games. There's also a blue box, called the Muteki box. I don't know what that means, but it makes the player invincible for a short period of time. The background music plays the invincibility song from Sonic 3's invincibility theme, and in the first game it plays Toot Toot Sonic Warrior. I like that name. There's also a yellow box, and this launches the player into the air like a spring. This is only found in the sequel. And then there is a gray box, which places a mine on the track that it causes a collision effect, and it's activated by pressing up. And this is in the sequel. So, do you think Drift used the classic items well in a racing format, or do you find these items a little too generic?
I think they're less generic than All Stars Racing, but they're still pretty generic. And
For sure.
I never understood why Sega had such a hard time figuring out how to do iconic items. Like, they're always like,
Yeah.
they want a baseball glove. That makes sense. What's your take on these compared to, I guess, other racing Sonic games for items?
I mean, you got to imagine, like, this is the series, like, maybe 3 years out, so it's not like they had a lot to pull from, but it makes sense to use the rings, it makes sense to use the springs, it makes sense to use the item boxes, though I think they were kind of weak in just using a color on the screen. Like, I get that there's drawbacks to having a Game Gear graphics, but still, like, you couldn't put, like, I don't know, a lightning bolt or, like, a spring shape or a spike. I don't know. I feel like the fact that 4 of the items are just boxes with different colors is a little weak. I did like the reverse ball being something that you would like find in the special stage. The flash star is a little weak as well. But yeah, you're right. Like the All-Stars and All-Stars Racing Transformed items were very generic and kind of weird.
Yeah.
I actually have to give it up for Team Sonic Racing and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds because they use a lot of Chow and they use a lot of Wisps, and I think that makes a lot more sense. Though I do feel like they are really missing out on using like the Badniks. I don't know why they don't have Badniks as weapons. I think that would be really cool to like, instead of sending a rocket, you send like a Motobug down the track and it like runs into someone.
I mean,
and like a flicky flies out or something. I don't know.
I have to agree. Actually, that would actually be a lot sicker than baseball glove.
Yeah, I mean, I think in those cases, since the All-Stars games were kind of like Sonic and Sega, they didn't just want to stick to Sonic, but they could have stuck to Sega.
They could have
and
done
have like Puyo Puyo, you know, or I don't know.
Spray paint to do your screen so you can't see.
Right. Yeah, like a bottle of spray paint would have been cool.
Yeah.
But, oh well. I don't work at Sega, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So while both games saw release in Japan, only the sequel made its way to the Americas and Europe. Europe received the sequel a month after Japan did, while Americans had to wait until the fall of 1995. Interestingly, the first game was one of the only few Game Gear games with an internal battery. And here, I actually have the
actual
box here. Let me see if I can show it.
I thought you were going to say...
I have the original Sonic Drift.
I thought you were going to say...
So you can see that little pink box there?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
On the monitor?
Yeah.
It says memory backup. And I actually, so about 8 months ago, I was just like browsing Sonic Retro, and I saw the page for battery backup Game Gear games, and I was like, I've never heard of these. And I saw Sonic Drift there, and I was like, what the hell? Actually, I don't think Sonic Drift was on the page. There was some like missing information. It was very confusing to me, and so I was like, hold up. So I bought it off eBay, and unfortunately, the battery in this one's dead.
Oh.
But I could conceivably like open the cartridge and replace the battery if I ever wanted to. I don't want to do that right now, but
is it soldered
I do
in?
think it's interesting that I don't know actually. It might be. Let me see. I'm not opening a Game Gear like cartridge right now, but I'm looking at it uses like a little hexagonal screw on the back. That's impossible to see. So yeah, I could open it. I could give it a try. But yeah, all it does is it saves your race data, which is like so silly. Like who is like, oh man, just wait until I show you that it took me 2 minutes to complete that track. It's kind of a silly thing to put in there.
I don't know. I would say Sonic fans are the people that would be the ones showing you fast data.
That's true, actually. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting little thing. The sequel, however, omitted this feature. Based on Sega Retro's classic review score averages, the original game saw mixed to positive reception in Japan, averaging 61 out of 100. The sequel saw positive to very positive scores with a worldwide average of 75 out of 100, and it was even awarded Mega Game Award by Mean Machines magazine. So do you think Sega was right to fast-track a sequel and hold the original back from a worldwide release?
Yes, this time. I don't know about calling it 2. They should have called it something else, but yes, I do. I agree that it was a really good idea, especially considering how burnt the fans would have felt if the first one came out and then the sequel came out 2 months later or whatever the duration was there.
Yeah.
People would be upset, and it would have been too much for the market, especially surprisingly how many Sonic games the Game Gear got. It would have been just too much, I think.
Yeah, I'm all for every game releasing to the West, and it's actually really surprising to have a Japanese exclusive Sonic game. That does not happen often.
Yeah.
I'm actually struggling. Tails, Sky Patrol, this, and like the kids arcade games are the only ones that come to mind that are Japanese exclusive Sonic games. So it's very rare, and it seems like it was something that mainly happened in like the early 90s before they realized that this is really a worldwide franchise.
Yeah, brand.
Let's take a commercial break and let's check out the memorable ad for Sonic Drift. Let me know when you have it queued up, and I'll hit play on my end.
All right, I'll press play now. Wow, full animation.
Yeah. Beautiful animation.
Yeah, actually crazy. But it has this, like, I don't know.
It's like...
The background looks kind of CGI before anime CG. You know how they use CGI for all animation now? It kind of has that feel, but obviously... Yeah. It's weird. What do you think? Sorry, go on.
Well, I think it is CGI.
Okay.
But it almost looks like... like low frame rate CGI. You know what I mean? Like they probably... I don't really know how they did CG back in the early 90s, like around 94. But I'd imagine, I guess Toy Story was a year out. So they were doing it. And so I presume it was like low frame rate, low quality textures. And then they overlaid the animation with it. But the animation here is just like some of the best 2D Sonic animation that I've ever seen. It's kind of wild. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if it's the greatest Sonic commercial, like content-wise, but
yeah,
it's so fun to go back and rewatch that. Like the explosion at the very end, at about 8 seconds, Amy, I feel like, yeah, there's a screenshot here. I'll put it in our chat, and if you want to bring it up, you can. But it's like moments before death, like if they did Faces of Death. Remember those?
Oh yeah,
those tapes that circulated where it's like people really dying. This is a Faces of Death image of moments before Amy Rose's car explodes, and she's
you put it in the chat. I don't see it.
Yeah, I just did. It's taken a moment.
There we go. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Let me see if I can get the frame here.
It's like Eggman's dying too. Eggman, Tails, and Amy all like a half a second before they died.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see now.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, like
yeah.
There's like a split frame you could get before the explosion.
He's
happened.
like Yeah, Eggman's just like tweaking out, and Amy's like her head's
There you
going
go.
back.
I got
it's
it.
Crazy. Wow.
They all died.
Oh man, poor guys. They all die. Well, it's like Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Everyone dies in that opening cutscene too. Let's talk trivia. Everyone loves trivia. So these are little bits that I couldn't fit elsewhere. Just want to throw them in towards the end.
Nice.
Sonic Drift marks the first dedicated Sonic racing game, preceding Sonic R and the All-Stars series by several years. Fang the Sniper's appearance in Sonic Drift 2 is one of his few playable roles outside of Sonic platformers. And I already mentioned it, but can you remember the other playable appearance?
Sonic the Fighters, obviously.
That's correct, yes. The sequel name causes confusion for Western audiences since the original game never saw a release outside of Japan. And question for you, if you had to retitle this, would you drop the 2?
Yeah.
Or would you give it a completely different name?
I would just call this Sonic Drift. That's it. Just release it. No,
For
we
America.
didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's
America.
fair.
And or maybe
Yeah.
if you really wanted to do it, you could call it like Sonic Drift Turbo. Any word, Nitro, any word that means racing after Drift, I would have just to make it, I guess, stand out from whatever is happening.
Maybe Sonic.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, would you have accepted like Sonic Drift GP?
Yeah, I would have accepted that. I would have accepted anything outside of 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is pretty wild, and we'll look at the box art soon, but it's like they just were kind of like, just port it over, it doesn't matter. The series concluded largely due to declining Game Gear market rather than poor performance. So, if this continued on, we might have seen a Sonic Drift 3. Sonic's car was likely modeled after a Ferrari F40, Tails
for the first
after
one, right?
a Lotus 7.
Yeah, okay.
And Amy's after a Mini Rover Cabrio, which I've never seen in person.
Me neither have I. So
I'm gonna check that.
Gonna put it on the screen.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's Amy's car.
Let me try to put it on the.
That's it. It just doesn't have faces.
And it did come out in the 90s or whatever it says here, like 93 to 96. I mean, it doesn't have a face, but it kind of looks like it would have a face.
Oh, the Ferrari F40, 100%. Yeah, look at that. 87 to 92. Those Japanese guys, they love Ferraris.
I mean,
so funny.
Yeah. Why are they obsessed with it?
Yeah. I don't know. There's actually a Ferrari dealership like near my house, and they did have a really slick-looking red one. I was like, it's Outrun,
Would you ever, if you were rich, you won $1 gajillion, would you ever spend it on a Ferrari, or is that too flashy?
I wouldn't, but there are classic car rental companies, and you could rent a Ferrari, but I would be scared as hell to drive it,
You hit anything.
I mean, I'm the guy who's like, oh my God, my car door hit another car at the Target parking lot. So am I really going to be driving a Ferrari? I don't think so.
No.
Classic Sonic and his Cyclone actually returned in the Apple Arcade release of Sonic Racing as an anniversary edition. And let's check that out. I actually have a time-stamped video here. We can see a little gameplay.
Oh, I see. It's
of
a smaller
Sonic in the Cyclone.
It's like a. I mean, I like it better, so it's nice that it's back. I think it looks good. Let's look at it in action, though. I want to see if the red actually does make it sound better. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of red though.
I think it looks cool.
Yeah. Never played this game actually because I don't have an iPhone. But
yeah, it's Apple Arcade only. It's funny because this track and that character is exclusive to this, and here we were like moaning about how Team Sonic Racing never gave us any DLC, but the DLC was on the mobile version by, I believe, oh man, who's the company that does all the developer that does all of Sonic mobile games now? Hardlight.
Oh yeah, Hardlight.
How would you like to work at Hardlight? Like, you just make Sonic mobile games. I guess it's not a bad gig.
I don't think it's a bad gig, especially if you're a fan, because they kind of have like free reign to do whatever they want because they can monetize it. So it's like, oh, you want to do Fang
True.
this and that? Okay, yeah, let's do it, and they'll make money off of it because there's these people buying these loot boxes or however they're taking your money from your pocket. So I think it would be pretty cool as a fan. Maybe I should install this game on my work phone. That way, because I have an Apple one. That's the only Apple.
Yeah, give it a
device.
try.
Yeah.
And it's.
I mean, it just came out.
Like for Apple Arcade?
Yeah. Like, it came out and no one really talked too much about it. How does it stand compared to the other games?
Oh, it's very different. It's much more like there are mobile games that play like console titles. This is a mobile game that plays like a mobile game. It's not bad though. It's worth checking out. And I think the inclusion of classic Sonic and a classic Sonic track is cool. It's interesting because we'll get into the legacy, but to be quite honest, like Sonic Drift's kind of a forgotten little twofer that came out. Like we've talked about the All-Stars and the Team Sonic racing games. They really don't reference this game at all. They don't carry over any music or tracks. So it was really surprising that classic Sonic and the Cyclone like returned because this game gets no love.
No.
Anything you see from this game is typically just because like the Marvelous Queen is from Triple Trouble and Eggman's vehicle is from Sonic 2. It's not like returning, like making merch of those is like a reference to this game, but the Cyclone is 100% a Sonic Drift thing. So I thought it was very cool. It's just unfortunate that it's never been added to anything. Like I'm surprised Classic Sonic isn't in Crossworld. It seems weird that he isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last bit of trivia, in 2021, a Honda ad actually referenced Sonic Drift's Green Hill track. And if you think I'm crazy, you can check out the screenshot here. It is very clearly a Sonic the Hedgehog stage, and they use the red and white striping on the road, which is straight out of Sonic Drift. So,
oh, lame! It's not.
Isn't that weird?
It's not. It's not on the photos for some reason. Let me look it up.
Oh, it might be a web.
MDP, yeah.
Web P.
Sonic Drift. I put Honda Sonic Drift. Do you think it'll come up? Oh no, there's a
yeah.
Honda,
It's a Reddit post.
A video game. It's because there's a motorcycle called. I can't find it.
There you go. I put it in the chat.
Thank you. Let it load, I guess.
I hate WebP, WebMT, WebP.
Let me see. I'll put it up now. There we go. There's the beautiful ad.
Isn't that wild?
It's from the animation?
It's like an animated Honda ad, and they drive through a video game, and it's very clearly Green Hill Zone. It's Sonic Drift because it's got the red and white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Somebody was a fan of the game that made this ad and got paid for it.
I mean, I'll admit I sneak Sonic things into stuff in my work, and I don't tell anyone because I don't want to get in trouble. But there are subtle Sonic the Hedgehog things out there from me. Not much of the development has been written about. Arc System Works and Sega CS2 developed the games. Sonic Retro has some pre-release images for the first game, so I guess that's about the extent of development. We can take a look at those pre-release images. It's on their website there.
Sonic giving a thumbs up. That's so funny. It looks so hilarious.
Yeah, Sonic, like, what are those cars that can, like, jump in the air? It's got hydraulics. That never happens
in the game.
On the original, on the final game, yeah. There's also a mock-up that actually shows Flicky instead of Amy. How would you have felt if... I mean, I guess they were like, well, there's only 2 Sonic games. They're like, wait, there's Sonic CD. Put Amy in the game. No one wants to play as Flicky.
Right. I agree.
But yeah, it's
oh my God.
kind of funny. It does... It does look like a mock-up, though.
It does. And the image would be so ridiculous. That'd be... No.
Flicky. there's also some other ones. They're like the HUD's missing information, water texture in the UI. Oh, I see that. So it's just minor little differences. But as you can see, and we've encountered this before when we've done like Master System game retrospectives, there isn't much development history because they cranked these out and moved on. Like, and no one was saving development docs or doing documentaries about it. Like, they were just like, all right, next game, let's move on. So there you go. Let's take a quick look at the box art for both games.
They had box art.
This first one,
I mean, I think this is the best part of the game. Sorry, I'm not being that mean.
Yeah.
But they are great box art. I mean, the art on it is great. But yes, let's look at them.
So the first one, Sonic Drift here. Like I said, I own it. I bought it. I love Tails being angry. Like you and Sonic. Tails, Sonic, and Eggman are all angry. Amy's the only one smiling in her car.
Yeah, creepy car.
And I feel like that's a rarity. Like, you don't get video game box art, especially for Sonic, where every single character is in a pissy mood.
Right.
Yeah. But I do dig it. I think it's a pretty cool box, which is why, like, I picked it up. The next one is Sonic Drift 2. I love this art as well. I like that it has all 7 characters on the cover there. I think it's funny how Fang is being flipped upside down, and it looks like Amy like hit Eggman, which is kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
I like the silhouette of Sonic
on the bottom,
the spine.
Yeah.
I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah. And then we have the American one, which is so weird.
What?
For starters, they did use the Japanese art, but look who got cut off.
Fang.
Yeah, Fang got cut off. Now, if you look on the cartridge, which I do have here, he did make the cartridge, at least.
If you squint.
But yeah, it's like one step forward in using the Japanese box art, and then 2 steps back by cropping out Fang. Like, you couldn't have just airbrushed it and, like, I don't know, cropped it a little more, like put a little more yellow sky in. And then on the back, I think it's really weird because it's like a super blown out, blurry picture of the track from the game. And then art of Sonic and Tails, but they're like the art they would use for Trapper Keepers and like pencil boxes. It's not
official.
It's not the art from the game. It's which they did have. Like there is character art. We just showed it.
Right.
What do you think about that? What do you think about Game Gear purple? I like it, but I think here it looks kind of
off,
funky.
Yeah. I think when it's all folded up as a box, it works. When you see all the purple together like that, you're like, oh, Barney, get this thing off my screen. I actually am a big fan of the whole branding for the 16-bit to try to make it less complicated. I thought it was cool that it was red, yellow, blue, purple. Thought that was a really cool thing they did. So I like that. I think the purple on I still always thought that the purple on the Game Gear was too purple. Like, I don't know, they could have went with another shade. It's very Barney purple.
And that's an episode I want to do soon where we would run through all the not like the templates. We'd go through each template that Sega used for each region. So we'd go through like Japan and take a look at from like SG-1000 through to Dreamcast, and then we'd look at America, and then we'd look at Europe. I thought that would be fun. But yeah, I mean, there you go, box art. Though overlooked for many years, Sonic Drift and Sonic Drift 2, they laid the early groundwork for Sonic spin-offs beyond platforming. Concepts such as character-specific abilities, item-based racing gimmicks, and competitive kart mechanics would later evolve in full console productions. Today, these games are regarded as important prototypes, quote-unquote, because they did get actually released. They're small in scope, but foundational in proving that Sonic could successfully branch into racing well before the genre crossover became mainstream. And yeah, that's true. This is people have to remember, like, mascot kart racers were not like a big thing back then. It was like Mario did it, Sonic did it,
Yeah.
and then everyone did it, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it took people some time. I feel like it was late 90s, early 2000s when mascot kart racers really blew up. And in the early 90s, I'm honestly struggling to think, like, Mickey didn't do it. Like, Chester Cheeto wasn't doing it. It wasn't like Looney Tunes.
I mean, I'm trying to think, like,
yeah.
they had Crash Team Racing. I mean, that was after, right? You would consider this after this period? So.
That was late 90s, yeah.
And then there was, so you're probably right when it took off. There was the Donkey Kong game, Diddy Kong Racing that a lot of people like and always talk back fondly about. Yeah, I think those were the biggest ones that weren't Mario. I think Mario basically stole 80% of the kart racing market, so all to it.
He did, yeah. And then everyone wanted to do it, like, and that's why, like, on PlayStation and Dreamcast, there's so many kart racers. There's like Muppets and wacky races, and it's all over the map. So if you would like to own both games, there are several options. The original game can be found complete in box for a cool $30 from Japan, so it's not that expensive. Well, the sequel can be had cart only for $25. There actually was a listing for Sonic Drift 2 for $30 complete in box from Japan, but I bought that.
Sorry, everyone.
I bought it while I was doing the notes. I was like, let's check the prices, and I'm like, hold up, add to cart, buy. You know. Both games are available in several compilations, including Sonic Adventure DX, Mega Collection Plus, and Sonic Origins Plus. Drift 2 can be found in Sonic Gems Collection without the original in tow, and it also appeared on a handful of plug-and-play machines. The sequel is also released to the 3DS by way of the Virtual Console, and the Gems Collection release is notable as it allows for local two-player without the need for a second cart and link cable. So if you want to play some two-player Sonic Drift 2, bust out Sonic Gems Collection and an extra controller. You can actually experience it. So it looks like Nintendo does what the Game Gear don't. So what would you say is the ideal way to play?
I guess how it was originally intended on a Game Gear, because I think the graphics were intended to be seen in a small screen. But obviously, if you're not into the nostalgia factor of it, I would just say try it in any of these, but make sure to remember that some of the graphic effects don't work as great when it's so clear and not like blowing out with the backlight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You make a great point, because I'll see that a lot on social media. People will post like, here's what the SNES looks like on a tube TV. Here's what the SNES looks like on an emulator. And it's like night and day. It's very clear and obvious that, especially when the screen was built into the machine, they designed these games to look best on that limited hardware. Mm-hmm. And so when you bust out your emulator on your computer and play these games full screen, it's not the same. Just graphically, it doesn't match up with what the original intent was. So if you are a snob, I would bust out the Game Gear and try these games. Speaking of legacy, Sonic Drift has inspired some fan works. There is an official port to the Master System that was made by the user, or the fan dev Shibwana on June 1st, 2009. The conversion is currently in an early state, but it's fully playable, and there's been no real update since. The developer of Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit revealed a Sonic Drift 16-bit project last year. However, he has since stepped down to focus on family and other creative goals, and the project is currently in limbo. We can check out a trailer for that, though, just because it is so impressive, and you did mention at the top of the show what a 16-bit version would look like.
Yeah, let's look at it. What, this isn't... Would this have run on the Genesis?
I don't think so.
It looks awesome, but...
32X maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking this looks like a 32X version of the game. Maybe like really early Sega Saturn. Like, you know, when you play those like first-person games where they were like really 2D, Fox 3D, like they were fake 3D. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I dig it though. It kind of looks like it's inspired by the commercial we watched with the animation. So there is a demo, you can check that out, but don't hold your breath on a full game being released. Any final thoughts you have on Sonic Drift 1 and 2 before we read Patreon memories and spin the wheel?
It's a short game. It has a lot of, I guess it's really the product of its classic era during this time, especially the Game Gear. If you enjoyed Triple Trouble, Fang, that world that they were introducing via handhelds, this is probably another one to try out if you're a big fan of the characters. It's definitely worth checking out the sequel and going back to this first game just to see what you were spared by from Sega of America. You?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'd go a little softer on the original. I mean, it is a smaller game. It is still fun. It does have tracks that you don't get in the sequel, but obviously the sequel adds 3 more characters, has a lot more variety going for it. I think the games themselves, though, are a great showcase of what the Game Gear was capable of. It has great graphics, great sound, great music. It takes advantage of the link cable, and in the original takes advantage of the battery backup, which is kind of a rare thing to find. I think only like a handful of games actually use them. And yeah, I mean, if you own a Game Gear, pick this game up. It's not expensive, and it's kind of cool to have it be like the complete in box Japanese game in your collection, which is cool. Let me read some Patreon memories here. So we have a Patreon, as we mentioned at the top of the show. Any tier gets to have their memory read on the show. So we have Ben Hayward saying, I guess I'm going to find out during the episode, but am I right in thinking that Sonic Drift 1 was only available in Japan, and that it was Sonic Drift 2 that we got in the rest of the world? I've had a bit of a play, but need to get into it more. It seems to me that the graphics work well for the smaller Game Gear screen. Looking forward to listening in and finding out more of the game. And you learned it. Eb Boy, or EB Boy, I should say, like EB Games, said, Sonic Drift is a nice little racer. I played this one around 2022 after Super Mario Kart, so the influences were clear. I like that it sticks to a sprite scaler format while adding karting conventions like items. Once you get the hang of the controls, though, the game gets mindlessly easy and the whole thing ends up feeling shallow. I really like the ending cutscenes for each racer, and I'm glad we got a sequel. So those are our memories, and now, George, I think it's time to spin that wheel and find out what we're going to be talking about next time on Sega Talk. Are you ready?
I got the wheel up. It looks like we have Macon X, Sonic 2 8-bit, and Tanglewood. And I'm going to hit the spin button now, and we'll see what
and this
I'm going to talk about.
This might be the last episode of the year, too.
Oh, well, what do you think it hit?
Sonic 2 8-bit.
Tanglewood, actually, which is a game that I have played a bit of, actually, and did follow a little bit of the development. It's an indie game. It's pretty impressive what he got, working on the Sega Genesis. The animation's really interesting. I'm gonna now have to play more of it. I mean, not have to, obviously. I could just do the notes without playing it, but I do want to complete more of the game before we talk about it next time on Sega Talk.
Wow.
Yeah, what do you know?
See you there.
Have you know much about this game so we could see it? We could talk about it next time.
I don't. I read the articles. I believe we even had a review that I read, and I just kind of sat back and watched it come and go. And now it's one of the first, I guess, indie games getting a Sega Talk feature. But it's notable. I feel like this one and what's the other one? The Genesis one.
Oh, the
Pure Solar.
Yeah.
I feel like are both very important games in the indie community for the Genesis. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.